What is going on, guys? I'm Mr. Tasty. I'm back. I'm doing my thing once again for this year's Halloween special, if you can even call it that. It has been a few days past Halloween, but I still wanted to do a solid candy review like I have been doing. I've done two videos before on Halloween, this one and this one right here, and I enjoyed doing them so much. I really wanted to do another one and keep the tempo going, so to say. So for this year's Halloween special, I'm going to be talking about candy. Again, for the third time. Fall is my favorite type of season by far. And now that it gets summer, I was definitely a summer kid growing up, but fall is where the magic is, or holiday row as I have historically labeled it, October, November, December. So for this year's fall Halloween video, I'm going to be talking about my top 5 Halloween treats that I simply don't like. Blech. So I must say, before we actually get into these special treats, disclosure, this is not an opinion of the companies themselves, it's just an opinion of these particular items. Okay, so let's just get right into it. Pow pow!
Yo, I ain't here for the money, I ain't here for the fame. Though it might be nice to own a jet plane, I'ma do it all for you.
So number 1 on my list of Halloween candy that I just don't like is got to be, I believe this candy was invented by Lucifer himself to trick people into believing in a false sense of happiness. And that is Good&plenty. I can't stand eating Good&plenty. Ugh! There's something about licorice that just completely throws me off. It's strange though, because growing up I knew a few people who really enjoyed eating this candy. Good&plenty goes way back. I mean, like really far back. I personally think that instead of Good&plenty, they should have labeled it Loads of Shitty, but that's just me. So Good&plenty was first produced by the Quaker City Confectionery Company in, wait for it, 1893. They go way far back. And it's actually said to believe that this is one of, if not the oldest branded candy in the United States. Yeah, so pretty interesting history with Good&plenty. They pretty much switched a few owners a few times over the decades, but it wasn't until the 1950s that Good&plenty really started to take off. There was actually a commercial created specifically for this candy treat right here that had a character in the 1950s named Choo Choo Charlie. No joke, look it up yourself.
Once upon a time there was an engineer. Choo-choo Charlie was his name, we hear. He had an engine and he sure had fun. He's Good&plenty candy to make his train run.
Charlie says, love my Good&plenty. Charlie says, really rings the bell.
So Good&plenty is actually owned and operated by the Hershey Company. Okay, so here's the moment of truth. I'm gonna have to try it. I haven't eaten this since I was a little kid and I didn't like it back then, and based on the way it smells and looks, I don't think I'm gonna like it now. But for your YouTube watching enjoyment, I'm gonna be eating this. So, quick disclosure, I don't like anything licorice too much, so I don't know if it's always been this size or if it's smaller or bigger. I know there's a king size version, but apparently what it is, it's just like a licorice candy. For those of you who don't know what Good&plenty is, it's a licorice candy that has that candy shell coating on it. They look like pills almost, strangely enough. Put the box down. Ouch. Yeah, they're like little pills. They look like there's like this one's white and this one's pink. Okay, I'm gonna eat it now. It's gonna taste like licorice. It's gonna taste like ass. Here we go. Okay, so right off the bat, it wasn't as bad as I thought it was. It still tastes like shit, but shit, I almost dropped it. It's a lot sweeter than I remember. I think the candy shell coating helps it out a lot. It's tolerable. I think as I got older, my taste buds have changed, but now I only ate 2 pieces. So Good&plenty, go out and try some. Okay, so number 2 on my list of the top 5 Halloween treats that I just don't like, or candies that I just don't like. Doesn't necessarily have to be Halloween, but yeah, anyways. Number 2 on my list is a candy that I think tastes like flavored plastic. I don't know what it is. I didn't like eating it when I was a kid, and I don't think I'm going to now. That's Twizzlers. So, as you can probably know, their going trend is I just don't like licorice that much. Strangely enough, I like red vines. You know red vines? They taste kind of like a candy, but they're like licorice-ish. So I don't really know the difference about red licorice and black licorice. I know one is a little bit more original. I think it's black, but that's probably why I don't like it. But Twizzlers, I don't know what it is. It doesn't really taste like a candy. It just tastes like plastic. So the manufacturer of Twizzlers has been around since 1845 and is arguably one of the oldest candy brands out there. It was first produced by the Young and Smile Company, and over the decades has been trademarked a few times in I think 1870, and it's pretty old. As the decades went on, the National Licorice Company, I think in 1902, merged with a few other companies and trademarked the Twizzlers brand in the early 1920s. And again, in 1968, the company changed its names to YS Foods, and then of course in 1977 it got acquired by Hershey's. So since 1999, Twizzlers has been made in Nashville, Tennessee, as well as its main location. So without further ado, I'm gonna try Twizzlers. I do think they have other flavors besides this. They have like strawberry, cherry, and a few other things. A bit like Good&Plenty. I think Good&Plenty had like one other flavor, the tropical Good&Plenty. But here we go. This is the smallest pack that I can possibly find. I know they have like smaller ones than that. Ugh! It smells like plastic. It smells exactly the way I remembered it. Like it's like one gigantic brick of candy. They're all fused together. Look, I don't know if my autofocus isn't working, but it's just like plastic. It looks like a plastic thing. Here we go, down the hatch. It honestly feels like you're chewing on a piece of plastic. This is exactly the way I remember it. I think Good&Plenty is a little bit more appetizing than this. Oh my god, that's bad. I can't even swallow it. Oh my god. Alright, so number 3 on my list. I literally had to leave the room and wash my mouth out with mouthwash after that last one. Those are horrible candies. Ugh. Number 3 on my list of candies that I didn't really like that much growing up. Let's see if it's still true. We have peanut butter kisses. Now, I don't remember this being a huge part of my Halloween. I don't remember seeing a whole lot of these. They were just striking me as really, really odd candies because they were like peanut butter and like chewy. I don't know how to describe it. It was almost like a peanut butter taffy, if you can call it that. But let's just do the review. So Peanut Butter Kisses was first created under the Impact Confectionery Company in one of the youngest brands of the candies in the lineup in 1981. And I think it's produced by a company that owns Warheads as well. Warheads, remember those? Those are pretty tasty. And of course, Meltzer's candies. Those are the same companies, I believe. So most of the candies produced by Impact Confections. It's produced in their Gainesville, Florida location. So most of the candies that Warheads makes in Meltzer's candies that are produced in their Janesville, Wisconsin location. And it is owned and operated by a private equity firm called Mill City Capital. Owns these candies. Alright, Mill City Capital, let's see if these are still awful. Comes in a little wrapper. Yeah, it's like a peanut butter taffy. If I had to say anything about these, the peanut butter kisses, not to be confused with Hershey Kisses. Huh. Interesting. Chewy. Honestly, it's not that bad. Not as bad as I remember. I don't know what it is. I guess I got older and my taste buds changed. But it's like a taffy. Very chewy. Caramel peanut butter, I'm guessing. It's made with real peanut butter. Let's read the back. Since 1919, Melster's candies have been a family favorite at holiday special occasions and as an everyday treat. Okay. Made in the U.S. You're distributed by Impact Confections, Janesville, Wisconsin. No, it's not bad. You can eat 3 of these and you get like 110 calories. So I might have to change my mind about these ones. These ones are actually pretty tasty. I just don't remember them being a part of Halloween. But they are peanut butter. So taffy, caramel peanut butter, these are pretty tasty. I might have to change my mind about these. So it'd be like the top 4 treats that I don't like. Yeah, I was actually kind of surprised. I guess I changed my mind. Go out and try some of these, but they're very chewy. Yummy. So number 4 on my list is we have a candy that goes all the way back to World War II, and that is a candy that's almost ubiquitous for Halloween. It's seen in every single Halloween bag. It's just, in my personal opinion, has been overplayed since my childhood, and it's not much like the last candy. It's not bad. It's just not. It's not my go-to, and it's not a whole lot of. It's not in the top 10 Halloween treats of all time. Let me tell you that. And now we are Smarties. So Smarties, not to be confused with the British Smarties, which are a little bit different. These are American ones. If you don't know what Smarties are, they're like. Let me just break open the bag. They come in this little roll, like this. It's almost like these little pill-shaped candies. They're kind of chalky. Personally, I'm gonna just say that these are just like chalk, flavored chalk candies in pill form. That's what they are. Yeah. Tart. I forgot how tart they were. Very chalky. There's not a whole lot of substance to Smarties. Flavored chalk candy, that's what Smarties are. And they've been around forever. I mean, if you give them to me, I'll eat them. It's just not my first go-to candy. I don't know what it is, I just don't like them. They're okay, but I can't eat too many of them because they're just really chalky. So the story is around Smarties is that a family called the D family purchased a pill-making machine right around World War II and retrofitted it to make candy. This, of course, actually led to its shape and design that you see today. So in the 1990s, the D family actually purchased the name Smarties.com, and in 2011 they had confirmed that these candies were actually vegan. The first candies that I know to be vegan. I never heard of a vegan candy up until right now. So there's 2 site locations that actually produce Smarties that produce, I want to say 70,000 pounds of this stuff a day. They run their machines 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and it is a very popular candy. It's just not for me. So that is it for Smarties. Go out and try some. It's definitely not for everybody. It definitely takes a certain person to have an acquired taste to eat Smarties. Like I said, it's like flavored chalk in pill form. That's what it is. So number 5 on my list for my Halloween special candy treat, if you could even call it that. This product goes way, way, way back. I mean way back. I haven't really had this a whole lot growing up. I've eaten it maybe a handful of times and it always tastes the same every single time. This item is more or less definitely a period candy, even though it has been around for a long time. I really don't see anybody buying it. I didn't really see anybody eating it. It's more like it's definitely a timepiece candy. I like most candies are. They're a bit timepieces. Like there's certain demographics that like them. So without further ado, I'd like to introduce you guys old ass candy from the grave, Necco Wafers. So Necco Wafers, it's an acquired taste, much like the last few candies that we've tried. It's an acquired taste. It's not bad. It's not my go-to. It really isn't. It says originally candy wafer made in US since 1847. Ouch, that's old. So the story of Necco Wafers goes a bit like this. Right around 1847, an English immigrant named Oliver Chase purchased a lozenge cutting machine and fixed it into a wafer cutting machine that produced candy. And at the time of the Civil War, these were actually called hub wafers. And later on, during World War II, America wanted to produce these and send them overseas for the American soldiers. Thus, right after World War II, produced a peak in demand for Necco wafers, and since then they've been kind of a period item treat for people, my grandfather's generation. But what can I say? They're not terrible. They're kind of old. Right around the turn of the century, in 1901, the company merged with the New England Confectionery Company, arguably one of the oldest, if not the oldest, continuously running candy brands in the United States. End of sentence, period. Like the oldest there is. The company itself, over the decades, much like a lot of the items on our list, has been acquired by several other companies during its lifetime. First in, I think it's 1963, and then most recently in 2018 by the Spangler Candy Company. I don't think they're currently producing Necco right now, but I think they're going to either next year or sometime in 2019. Don't quote me on that, I think that's true. I don't know if they currently produce these, but let's just get right into it. Let's try these guys. The candies that we've tried so far, I've only been really disappointed by one of them. Even the Good&plenty wasn't as bad as I remember, except for the Twizzlers, which is god awful. Ugh. But the peanut butter one wasn't that bad. The Necco Wafers, you can see, comes in a little. I got mine in a bag. You buy them in the bag. I think they come in a longer roll than this, like a 6 inches or so. But this one's like a little bite size. And you open it up, it's like wax paper, and there's these little wafers. They're like coins. They look like coins. And looking at them, they look old. I really don't want to eat this, but I'm going to for you guys. You're welcome. Now, I'm not sure. Okay, they're really hard. I'm afraid to really crunch down because I don't want to break my teeth. I think this one's like mint or something. There's like banana, cinnamon, I'm guessing grape. I don't know the actual flavors. But very simple recipe, I think. Not a whole lot going on here. An American classic. Produced with genetic engineering, I believe it. Okay. So I'm crunching into it. You know what it tastes like? It tastes, for Valentine's Day, you get the candy hearts. It tastes just like those. It tastes just like candy hearts. It's kind of like chalky, kind of candy. Almost like a powdered sugar kind of flavor to it. Okay, so that is it for this Halloween video, if you can even call it that. I wanted to get something out pretty quickly. I wanted to before Halloween, but I didn't really get a chance to it, so I thought I'd choose some candies that are kind of normal and not necessarily associated with Halloween. Again, that's it. That's all I have for you guys right now. I hope you guys liked the video. I will be making another one very shortly in November, I promise you that. I don't know what it's going to be yet, but it will be associated with the fall season. I'm going to get like more different product reviews out there, more specifically brand reviews associated with the seasons, and see how that develops. That's just an idea. And yeah, so I will see you guys in a couple weeks, and enjoy your holidays. Peace.